Beyond the shimmering waves of heat and the barren expanse of land lies a mystery that has intrigued explorers and scientists for centuries. The Sahara, one of the world's most renowned deserts, hides secrets buried deep beneath its endless dunes. What lies beneath the surface of this seemingly lifeless land? Join us on a journey back in time as we uncover the hidden history of the Sahara and reveal the long-forgotten tales of a land once alive with vibrant flora and fauna. Let's unravel the enigma of the Sahara and discover the secrets that lay beneath the sands. The Sahara is the world's largest hot desert and the third largest desert overall, after the icy deserts of Antarctica and the Arctic. The Sahara is located in northwestern Africa. The Sahara Desert is often considered to be one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. It extends across an area that is almost equivalent in size to the United States of America and takes up nearly 1/3 of the African continent. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, the word desert can be translated from the Arabic word ar, which is where the name of the desert derives from. Talking about what is the Sahara like in terms of its geography, the Sahara Desert is bounded on all sides by water, to the west by the Atlantic Ocean, to the east by the Red Sea, to the north by the Mediterranean Sea, and to the south by the Sahel Savanna. The vast desert extends across the borders of 10 countries, including Algeria, Chad, Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Niger, and Tunisia. It also encompasses the territory of Western Sahara, a former Spanish colony that was annexed by Morocco in 1975. However, control of the region is contested by the indigenous Sahrawi people, as reported by the BBC in 2021. The Sahara Desert is home to a diverse range of topographic characteristics, but the dune fields that are found there are the ones that have brought it the greatest notoriety. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, the dunes can reach heights of about 600 feet, and they take up around 25% of the total land area of the desert. Mountains, plateaus, plains covered in sand and gravel, salt flats, basins, and depressions are some examples of other types of topographical features. The Qattara Depression in northwestern Egypt is the Sahara's deepest point, measuring 436 feet below sea level. Emi Koussi, an extinct volcano in Chad, is the highest point in the Sahara, rising 11,204 feet above sea level, while the Qattara Depression is the Sahara's lowest point. The Sahara contains at least 20 seasonal lakes and enormous aquifers, which are the principal sources of water for more than 90 significant oases in the desert. Although water is scarce throughout the entire region, the Sahara is home to 2 permanent rivers, the Nile and the Niger. The authorities in charge of water management formerly believed that the aquifers in the Sahara were fossil aquifers, which are water reserves that accumulated under distinct climatic and geological conditions in the distant past, and they feared that these resources would soon dry up as a result of excessive use. Despite this, research that was carried out in 2013 and published in the journal Geophysical Research Letters found that the aquifers were still being replenished by precipitation and runoff. The Eye of the Sahara in the country of Mauritania appears to be a large impact crater when seen from above. It is located in the heart of the Sahara Desert. This strange feature, which resembles a crater but is totally on Earth, has a diameter of about 30 miles and is made up of a sequence of waves that are uniform in size. A photograph of the terrain of Mars has been made public by the European Space Agency. The image depicts a crater located on Aonia Terra, which is located in the southern highlands of the Red Planet. The photograph is drawing the attention of a variety of specialists who are referring to it as the Eye of the Sahara. The photograph was taken by the Mars Express spacecraft of the European Space Agency on April 25, 2022 and uploaded to Twitter. The term Eye of the Sahara refers to a feature in the Sahara Desert in western Africa that was once known as the Richat structure. There's a bullseye crater in the middle of the photo that was taken 250 miles above the surface of the Earth, and the structure is hauntingly similar to the geography of Mars. According to the European Space Agency, the unnamed crater that can be seen in the middle of the image from Mars can be found tucked away among a terrain that features winding channels. The organization believes that the channels contained liquid water. According to the ESA, these channels conjure images of veins running through a human eyeball, and it is likely that they transported liquid water throughout the surface of Mars around 3.5 billion to 4 billion years ago. In addition, it was mentioned that the canals look like they are partially filled with a dark material, and in other areas, they appear to rise above the Earth that is all around them. This phenomenon could have several different causes and interpretations. The water flowing through the channels caused silt that was resistant to erosion to settle at the bottom of the channels, or the channels were stuffed with lava at a later point in Mars history, the agency said. The photograph of the crater also reveals a surface with multiple colors, which, according to the ESA, is evidence that this particular region of Mars is composed of a range of different substances. It was described as having a warm red color near the south, which gradually melted into a deeper brownish-gray color as it got closer to the crater. Mars's Aonia Terra crater is famous for having some of the planet's most stunning craters. It is named after a feature on the surface of Mars known as Aonia, which is a dark patch that can be seen from Earth, even with relatively simple telescopes. Aonia was also the name of a place in ancient Greece that was revered as a sacred site by the Muses, who were considered to be the patron goddesses of the arts, sciences, and writing. Since 2003, the European Space Agency's Mars Express spacecraft has been in orbit around the red planet, taking pictures of the Martian surface and analyzing the elements that make up its atmosphere. In the 1960s, astronauts flying Gemini used this magnificent ancient geological feature as a marker on their missions. In the beginning, geologists thought that the Eye of the Sahara, also known as the Richat structure, was an immense impact crater. Despite this, more research into the sedimentary rock that makes up the central dome has dated the formation of the dome to the late Proterozoic, which was occurring between 1 billion and 542 million years ago. Although its circular shape is supposed to mirror the continent described by Plato, we are not exploring the possibility that the construction is indeed the remains of the long-lost metropolis of Atlantis. However, it is important to note that some people continue to think this. The formation of the structure very certainly occurred as a result of a process referred to as folding, which resulted in the formation of a symmetrical anticline. If the sedimentary rock is cold and brittle, it can fracture, but if it is warm enough, it can fold. Folding happens when tectonic pressures operating from either side squeeze sedimentary rock. An anticline is a type of fold that forms in an upward direction, whereas a syncline is a type of fold that forms in a downward direction. On the other hand, in a publication that was published in the Journal of African Earth Sciences in 2014, researchers presented a different explanation for the eye's creation. It is believed that the presence of volcanic rock points to evidence of molten rock being pushed to the surface, which caused the dome shape before being eroded into the rings that can be seen today. The hypothesis presented in the research suggested that the breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea could have contributed to the genesis of these volcanoes and tectonic movements. The composition of the building includes both sedimentary and igneous rock in varying proportions. Rocks of fine-grained rhyolite and coarse crystalline gabbro, both of which have been altered by hydrothermal processes, have been uncovered by erosion across the surface of the structure. The various types of rock that can be found across the rings erode at varying rates, which results in a variety of color patterns being created over the surface. The whirling, multicolored imperfections that make up the formation are contributed to by large fragments of sedimentary rock with sharp angles. These fragments are called megabreccia. The core of the dome is made up of an alkaline volcanic rock, ring dikes, and a kilometer-wide breccia shelf that is composed of limestone and dolomite. Geologists have been mystified and intrigued by the intricate geological structure of the eye ever since it was discovered, and it is still widely considered to be one of the most spectacular geological phenomena in the world. As a consequence of this, the International Union of Geological Science acknowledged it as one of the first 100 geological heritage sites in the year 2022. Because of its enormous size, the Eye of the Sahara is most effectively observed from a great height, but for the time being, we will have to make do with satellite photographs to take in all of its splendor. Evidence of a prehistoric mega lake has been found by geologists buried deep within the dunes of the Sahara Desert. The Nile River burst through a low channel in Wadi Tushka approximately 250,000 years ago, flooding the eastern Sahara and creating a lake that, at its peak level, covered more than 42,000 square miles. The photos of a mega lake in the Sahara Desert show that it's 810 feet above sea level and covers 42,000 square miles, while the image that also is shown a smaller lake that is 623 feet above sea level and covers 18,600 square miles. The National Museum of Air and Space Exploration, while analyzing radar data of Egypt that was collected by the Space Shuttle Radar Topography mission, geologist Ted Maxwell and his colleagues recently found evidence of the lake. Geologists were able to piece together the topography of an ancient mega lake by using photographs of sediments that were blown by the wind, sediments that were created by running water, and bedrock visible by radar beneath the sands of the desert. The high aridity of Egypt makes it easier for radar to discern distinct features underneath the surface of the country. Up to 50 feet below the surface of the desert, buried channels can be uncovered with the proper equipment. Oasis of Kasiba, located in southern Egypt. This oasis can be found along an ancient waterway that was uncovered by geologists using data obtained from the Space Shuttle Topographic Mission. The current depth of the water below the surface ranges from 6.5 to 9.5 feet. This oasis was only recently tilled up to make way for melons to be grown. The fossil fish were discovered in deposits located approximately 250 miles west of the Nile and at an elevation of 810 feet above sea level as a marker of the lake's highest shoreline. According to the findings of the researchers, the locations of Paleolithic human settlements around the areas of Salima and Tarfawi in Egypt correlate to a lake that covers approximately 42,000 square miles. This places the Paleolithic human colonies in regions that would have been ideal because they were near water. A second lower level of the lake may have existed at a height of 623 feet above sea level, as suggested by the position and elevation of a different series of archaeological sites near Bir Kisiba, located approximately 93 miles west of the Nile. And this lake may have covered an area of approximately 18,600 square miles. The elevation of the Tushka Channel, which the water of the Nile previously flowed through on its way into the desert, was also utilized as a base level by the geologists when they were calculating the size of the second lake. According to researchers, the discovery of these lakes adds to the mounting evidence that multiple early and middle Pleistocene lakes existed over North Africa. These lakes may have supported human movement patterns during these periods. Their findings were detailed in an article titled Evidence for Pleistocene Lakes in the Tushka region, South Egypt, which was featured in the Geology Journal's December 2010 issue. That's all for today's video, but we'll be right back with more soon. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.